we've got a person by the name of Joe, him, coming out of Pennsylvania. Is that the Keystone State? Well, maybe I'm right.
Georgia.
Maybe I'm wrong. No. And Joe, hey Joe, says that the Earth didn't just appear out of nothing. It had to have come from somewhere, and there had to be a God of some form. Joe, Katie, and I want to know more about this. You were on the air with us on Talk Heathen.
Hello.
I think the Earth came
How
out
you
of
guys doing?
something. It came out of a debris field. That's where I
Yeah.
think the Earth came from.
A debris field. Okay. Well, that's interesting, but I mean, I can pretty much say that I don't think anybody has 100% proof where the Earth came from, but I can tell you right now that it did just come out of nowhere. I mean, it has to come from somewhere, and I just choose to believe in the Bible and believe in Jesus, and that's
Choose
how
to
it is.
believe?
So the Earth. So we could have another hypothesis, like Johnny's saying, oh, he thinks it come from a debris field and from a star exploding or whatever, and you're saying, oh, well, I think
I mean,
that
is
God
that for real, or is that just?
Well, I think that Johnny's alluding
this-
to the our human understanding of how planets are created, and we've got quite a lot of knowledge of that, and we've made some predictions about
Right.
there being other planets. But I'll offer a third hypothesis, and that is that the Earth was magicked into existence the day before you were born by a wizard called Gary. So I guess what would we do out of our three belief systems to work out which one of us was right? Because you said you choose to believe in Jesus, so I've just chosen to believe in Gary.
Well, before you get on with you think atheists, Katie has posed an interesting question. So try answering that. Forget about your ideas of what these pesky atheists have to say. Answer Katie's question, and we'll go from there.
I have no problem. Yeah, I have no problem with atheists. Like, here's the thing. The reason I'm calling in, I'm not calling in to argue. I'm just calling in to say that the universe is, I mean, I don't even know if we know all the planets.
Joe,
no, we don't.
I just muted you because I asked you a very specific question. Or actually, no, Katie asked you a very specific question. And it's our show. And we want you to answer that one first before you get on with the subject that you want to talk about, because we're happy to talk about it. But, you said something, Katie said something. This is a conversation. So go ahead. Katie, help Joe out, because sometimes people get dazzled by you. So I'd like you to go ahead and ask that question again in shorter.
Yeah, I'm just asking, out of our three worldviews, that the Earth was made by a load of rocks colliding into each other, is Johnny's. Joe, your worldview is that God created the Earth, just like Pow. And then my worldview, and like, I don't know, maybe you think 6,000, maybe you think 4 billion years ago, whenever you think God created the Earth. And I think Gary created the Earth by casting the Earth spell in whenever you were born, but the day before that. We should be able to rule. My one sounds a bit silly. I think we should be able to maybe rule it out, or maybe we can rule out Johnny's idea. How would we go about it? I'm not trying to like trip you up. I'm just trying to see
how would you go about
what process?
100%. I mean,
well,
functionally,
can't rule anything.
Functionally ruling it out.
But,
okay, so we can't necessarily rule out.
But I choose to believe it's faith. It's called faith for a reason, right?
But we can look at Johnny's claim, and we can at least look for some evidence of that happening. And we can see that in other solar systems, perhaps, but we can also look at it in our own. We could say, well, if the Earth was created by loads of dust clumping together because of gravity, and then forming rocks, and then rocks that collide with each other, and then creating planets, we would be able to see various things in the universe, and we can make that prediction, and then we can look to see if they're there. And if that's the case, we can't say for sure where the universe came from, because we don't know what predictions to make about that. But for where the Earth came from, we can look at that, and we can see lots of evidence for that claim. For my claim, there's just no evidence at all. And you're right. I mean, maybe it could be true. Maybe Gary just magicked into existence all of the evidence to support Johnny's worldview too, just to make him look foolish when he reveals himself after this show.
But
But
Katie,
like,
do you believe in Gary by faith? I mean, do you believe in faith? By faith? Faith. Do you choose to believe faith in Gary?
well, I've never met Gary, and I've got
Oh.
I can't make any
Am I still on
predictions
mute,
based
or-
on the existence of Gary.
No, you're there, Joe. I brought you back.
So yeah, it is faith, and
Okay, it's by faith. All right.
so
Yeah, I'd
what
like
all
to
I'm saying,
get your word in. I mean,
yeah, sorry, Joe, I'm in
not
rant
to
mode
interrupt.
today because someone asked me about crabs and I went off.
We're a bunch of chatty Cathy's.
I got a
Joe,
lot
what
of
you got?
atheist friends, so I mean, it is what it is. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think anybody has 100% proof. But have you either read the Bible, either of you guys?
Oh yeah, I learned to
haven't.
read by reading the Bible.
Is it?
Okay,
I
good.
don't know
Yeah.
if that's true or not.
Yeah, no,
believe in the Bible.
it
I
was
think
pretty
it
boring.
well, it's might be boring, but I think it has a lot of things in it that prove that Jesus existed and that he created the earth.
Okay.
Now,
Well, now we're
Can I be
sort of
100%
shifting.
true on that?
Do you, Gary?
I think this...
sorry, just Gary, Joe.
Maybe Joe is
Joe,
Gary.
Joe, do you require 100% certainty before you do something? Like, for example, let's say there
No.
was some microwavable macaroni and cheese in your freezer, and it's been there for a while. Do you require 100% certainty that it won't give you diarrhea later that evening or the next day before you eat that macaroni and cheese that's been in your freezer for a while? Or do you kind of like look at the date, the expiration date? You see that the fridge seems to be working. There's ice in there. Everything's fine. And you
No, I
ate...
mean-
go ahead.
No, most things you put in the microwave, you gotta have faith that it won't give you diarrhea. So no, I don't require 100% proof on that.
But it's
Okay, you don't-
not the
yeah.
same type of faith because with knowing how
there's different
like you
types
have
of faith
evidence
now.
of
Okay.
previous hang on. You have evidence of previous microwave meals you've eaten, and you know that like 99% of them haven't given you an illness. And also you know about food standard agencies, and you know about vaguely about the production cycle for macaroni and cheese and stuff. So you have some evidence. You don't know for 100%, but you can say, oh, probably this is the case.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have the same type of thing. You're not just making a prediction. You're making a prediction based on evidence.
Though? Because about
Sorry?
50% of them give me some sort of diarrhea. So
Well, if it's
when's the last
50%,
time
then
you
you can make
like-
you can make a prediction based on the evidence in your life. If you've eaten 100 microwave meals and 50 of them have made you ill, then you've got some evidence, and you could say this microwave meal in my hand might well make me ill. And if I was to eat it, I'd be like, oh, it probably won't, because I never get ill from eating even out of date food. And I'm saying that based on
Constitution.
evidence that I've experienced in my life. And we're making a prediction based on evidence, and that's what I'm trying to get to. When we're looking at Johnny's worldview of where the Earth came from, we get some evidence, and then we make predictions, and that doesn't mean we're 100% the right every single time, but it means that if we were just guessing randomly, we would be right almost never. But we're narrowing down our predictions and making them more and more accurate, and that's kind of what science is. It's just narrowing down our predictive ability.
So that's why pretty much why I'm calling in is because I think that a claim that there's a God has a lot higher of a probability to being true than an atheist point of view where Earth just came from nothing.
But are you basing that on evidence, or are you just
Earth
saying
came
it
from
feels
nothing?
right?
Well,
That's what I said.
100% proof. Yeah, right.
Roll back the tape.
But I'm not
Earth
asking
came
for
from
100%
nothing.
proof.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for 100% because I feel this is like a little rhetorical trick. Because I mean, for example, we could say every single time. No, I'm not trying to. I'm not accusing you of tricking. Sorry, that wasn't me projecting bad faith onto you. I'm saying that I don't like that phrase because it sounds like one. Because I could say every single time I throw in a ball, which I'm really bad at doing, that it has gone down towards the Earth, and we can say, oh well, that happens because of gravity, and you know. We know that. We can say that, claim we know that. But what could have happened is there could be a God and no gravity, and there could be this really malicious God who's just like, every single time someone throws a ball, I'm going to make it go down towards the Earth. That I'm going to make all these planets go around the sun, and then one day I'm just going to stop doing it. And that's gravity has never existed, and it's all just been me having a laugh the whole time. Potentially that is also true. But
intelligent falling.
Yeah, the thing is, all we can really do, all science is creating a model for the evidence we've seen in the world and making predictions. And that isn't really a truth claim. That's not saying gravity definitely 100% exists. What we're saying is we have looked at literally trillions of examples of objects interacting, and we've come up with this formula and understanding of gravity, and we can make predictions, and we're actually right like every single time. And if anyone ever made a prediction using our understanding of gravity today, like a sort of Newtonian understanding, and it was wrong, and we were like, hey, look, I just caught this on camera, I threw this ball and it just went up and just flew out up into space, then we'd be like, wow, something is going on here. We need a new understanding of this. But all we're trying to do is create a model of the world. And when it comes to like, when you say, oh, it's not 100%, like, for sure it's not 100%, but that's not really the point. The point is that we have this model and it makes accurate predictions. And if you want to say, I've got, I believe there's a God and I can make predictions based on it, then cool, let's do that. But I'm not convinced you can. And I don't think that we have evidence to point in that direction. I mean, we've got the Bible, but then we've also got the Quran, and we've also got, like, loads of other holy books. So I think that we need some kind of evidence, to make predictions in order to create this worldview that you're saying. We need to. How do we make that model? How do we like justify that in the same way that I would gravity?
Well, if I can get a couple words in, I mean.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in rant mode. I said that.
I mean, my girlfriend, to be honest, is an atheist, and she's sitting in there laughing. But anyway, so here's the thing, right?
Hello.
Get him.
She watches the show at 5:30 with Matt or whatever. But anyway, so
I hate that guy.
the Bible isn't just the only thing. I mean, I've read it a couple of times and I believe in it. But I look at everyday life. I mean, look at a baby being born. Look at everything that life has to offer. I mean, I think there's a God, and I think it happens to be Jesus. But I mean, here's the thing, right? There's never going to. I know you keep saying that you don't believe it. I'm not trying to make you believe it, and I'm just calling up to explain why most people do. I don't know about most people, but I would think maybe most people, believe in a God. Not that it's a Jesus.
Yeah, most people believe in a God. Yeah.
Right, but there's been a lot of scientists that actually have been Christian, Muslim, Jewish.
But they didn't use evidence to get there.
Let's get focused, please. Joe, you talk about,
focused, but it doesn't seem like atheists agree.
I'm
with
getting
anything.
focused right now, Joe. I'm getting focused. You say, look at a baby being born. Look at a baby being born. Okay, this makes you think that God exists. Why? Why specifically does a child being born make you think that God exists?
Because look at how precious it is. Look at the way it happens. There's no.
Joe, you are absolutely baiting me into a parasite fact.
You want me to get scientific about it? Do you want me to get scientific about it, or?
Yes. Yeah. Scientific would help, because we're talking. Look how precious it is. Look at how marvelous it is.
I agree that babies are precious. I think childbirth.
Love them. Love the kids. Please call in, babies. We love you. Why is that equal God?
Look at how it happens. Look at how sperm hits the egg, and then it takes 9 months for the baby to be born. Now, most people nowadays want to have the baby killed, and it is what it is.
Oh no,
you're right. Most people do
he's
want
not
the baby
sneaking in an anti-abortion thing.
Yeah, he's one of these guys. Girlfriend.
Oh, Joe, I like
that's in the background. You questionable choice, but get more specific. Get more specific here, Joe. Okay, it takes 9 months for once a sperm gets an egg, and that egg implants in the uterine wall, and it does its business. And then hormones and all that. So why is that God again? Come on, it's.
I mean, I believe
complex.
In God. And here's the thing too, right? When you have sex, it feels great. That's why people have sex. It's the best thing you can do ever, pretty much.
And ending
when you have a kid,
world peace is the best thing ever.
It also feels great. It
Yeah,
also feels
for
great
some
when you
people.
actually see that baby being born.
Sure.
So there's two great things in the span of 9 months. Okay.
So this is the
And
argument
God
from
is
emotion
Hoping you're
and the
having sex more
argument
than once
from
every night.
No, it's
This is
not
the
for
argument-
here's the philosophy and all this argument from this, argument from that. I know. Because I watch.
No,
I
Joe,
watch
Joe.
that at 5:30. I watch that show all the time. I think it's a good show. I enjoy
Yeah.
listening to you guys. You
It's
know.
okay. It's
But-
okay.
You know, like I said when I first called up, I don't think anybody has 100% proof.
No one's
No,
asking
but-
for 100%
That's not what
proof,
I'm
Joe.
claiming.
Why there's about 98, 99%
Asking for
chance
any
that there is a
evidence.
God.
Oh,
But were
What's
you
that?
saying the baby though? Was that was the baby argument? Because
was it the baby
I'm
argument?
just
Yeah.
I'm just absolutely like
It's one of the most
chomping at the bit. Is that the phrase?
wonderful,
I just wanna squeeze in a fact.
it's one of the. It's a miracle.
Would-
It's a miracle. That's what it is.
It's a
It's
miracle.
cool. I know,
What- it is a
Joe. I totally
Yeah.
hang on a sec. I totally grant you that childbirth is amazing and like it's a beautiful
No, it's a
process and kids
miracle,
are
though, right?
amazing. Yeah.
Is it not a
Well,
miracle?
I'm not
A-
saying it's a miracle. I'm
miracle?
just saying I'm agreeing that it's beautiful. And you could say, wow, look, there's mountains behind us. Mountains are beautiful. And you could say, wow, only a God a loving God created something that beautiful, created something as beautiful as childbirth. And then I would say, okay, but also I just learned about this parasitic wasp called a jewel wasp. Sorry, everyone in crew, because I told you this fact earlier. But
Yeah.
what it does is it finds a cockroach, which is way bigger than it. And lots of parasitic wasps
Right.
just paralyze their prey and then they carry it off. And the jewel wasp can't do that because it's too small. So what it does is it uses its stinger and it goes inside the head of the cockroach. And it is so precise that it finds a part of the brain in the cockroach which allows it to tell itself to run, like to panic run away. And it just destroys that part of the brain. So now the cockroach is still alive. It's not paralyzed. It can still move. It can still feel pain, everything, but it can't run. And it can even jump and flap its wings. And then the jewel wasp jumps down onto the floor and grabs the cockroach and by the antenna and just walks along like a dog with a lead. And it walks it into a burrow that it's dug. And then it lays its legs on the underside, on the underside of the cockroach, seals off the entrance to the burrow and just goes off. And the cockroach just stands there alive, metabolizing very slowly for 8 days. And the eggs hatch out and they burrow into the cockroach and they eat it alive. And it feels all the pain because it's not paralyzed like lots of spiders do. And then all these little baby wasps come out, they make cocoons and then they fly off. And that is so unimaginably horrifying for the cockroach to have to watch all this happen. And this is the miracle of wasp
Right.
childbirth.
It's a miracle.
And it's
Right.
so evil.
It's a miracle.
I mean, I think it's
Thanks for
cool, but
saying that. Yeah.
Miracle.
Sure.
I totally, I'm
yeah, I was
totally,
kind of
totally
being
not
sarcastic.
sarcastic.
it's
what-
so evil. How did a god? How I just think it undoes the look at the trees argument because I think look
Yeah.
at the parasites. They're bleak.
Yeah, fuck the trees. Hey, Joe, question, and I'm an environmentalist, so that's funny that I said that. But Joe, what's your definition of
Cool.
miracle? We're batting you around with little reeds, but
I mean, I can.
in your-
look it up on,
you can
on
take
the
it.
internet.
You can
I
take
don't really know all definition of a miracle.
Joe-
would be. I mean,
yeah, that's what I want to know.
yeah.
Because you can say that like,
But
okay,
that
here's something.
definition,
Here's
I mean,
something. Well, Joe, let me say this, and I'm sorry, I will let you talk. I promise. Let's say I have a community center, okay, and the city has withdrawn funding for this community center, right? And I decide to get together with my friends, and we decide to have a talent show, okay? And me and my friends get together, Turbo, Ozone, others. We get together. We decide to have like a dance thing. We get musicians to come, and we raise, $500. But that's not nearly going to do it because they're gonna bulldoze this community center, and the kids really need it. And so, at the last minute, just as the city planner comes in with the bulldozers, right? Another person who also values community comes in with $500,000 to save the community center, right? And so we can keep the community center, and we can have breakdancing showcases anytime we want to. Is that a miracle, or is that just like, oh, great?
I mean, I think it's great. I wouldn't say that's a miracle. No, I wouldn't say
Okay,
that's a miracle.
all right, that's not a miracle. Cool.
That's not.
How about
you can't
how about a
explain that.
situation?
Childbirth is a totally different.
Okay, childbirth is totally different. So I would suggest that
I
a
have never
miracle
experienced
is.
any miracles because I never.
I
had
would
kids,
suggest
but,
that
yeah.
I would suggest that a miracle is a situation where the laws of physics are broken and something that cannot happen in our material world happens. Right? Now, there's probably a better definition out there,
Right.
but my understanding is like, okay, like, Muhammad, he cuts the moon in half and then it seals itself up again, something like that. What is miraculous about childbirth? It happens all the time. In Texas, it's going to happen a hell of a lot more often, by the way. So
Is it
what's
though?
miraculous about it when we know that sperms go for eggs implant in uterine walls, and unless something stops that egg from developing into a zygote and then an embryo, and then it passes through the vaginal canal out the other end and comes into existence because of one reason or another, a child will eventually come out of this process. What's miraculous about that, Joe?
Yeah, it's just natural. I mean, it's
What's
evolved like that.
miraculous about it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. It's amazing. I mean, I don't know. If
believe
you
it,
don't think
though.
that's a miraculous, it takes 9 months for it to happen, for one.
Equivocation.
What
This is
other
equivocation,
things does
Joe.
take 9 months to. What's that?
It's equivocation, Joe.
Oh, I know.
Something
I know all
is.
about it. I know all about it. Just because, I know all about it. But what I'm saying is, it takes 9 months for it to happen. What other natural thing takes 9 months to occur?
A redwood tree. Let's see, mountains take millions of years, many 9-month periods to happen.
Who created the trees, though? I believe that Jesus created the trees.
Okay, why? Why did Jesus? Why do you believe that Jesus created the trees? Don't say it's because of faith, because that's shit. Why do you believe that Jesus created the trees?
Because without trees, you wouldn't have any air to breathe. Without trees, the animals wouldn't have any food. Plants.
Why didn't God create human beings so they didn't require air to breathe?
We also know God made the earth without trees.
That would just be kind of weird, don't you think? I mean, I don't know.
Why?
That wouldn't be natural.
Joe, come on.
Well, listen,
Wait, oxygen. You could have just.
You have your own faith.
Why did we need to breathe?
Atheism is a faith, and I have my own faith. So.
What faith do we
You're
have?
flailing now.
Yeah, I don't know. Joe, here's what I suggest.
Listen,
here's what I suggest you do, Joe.
I like talking to you guys.
We know you're not trolling.
I do too. I want you to call back. I'd love to have you call Matt, but I want you to call back again. So maybe don't call Matt.
I'm not going to call Matt because Matt kind of, he hangs up on people. You guys are a lot more gracious, and I like listening to Matt's show.
Tell all your friends that, because that's why everyone should call in to talk Heathen.
Yeah, talk Heathen. Tell all your friends. Tell your girlfriend. Thank you.
I have a different opinion of me, so you won't have to worry about that.
My advice for next time you call in is you're saying you're not trolling. Like we're not trying to troll you either, and I'm not trying to humiliate you. But for some things, when it's like, why do you think this happened? And then you kind of retreat to, oh, you've got faith too. That's not relevant. It feels like you're trying to deflect away a point. And I think personally myself, when I think it's good not to.
Points,
So when someone says, why would God create us needing oxygen? If you don't know, you could be like, I don't know. I'll go away and call back. Like we're not trying to dunk on you in this show. If you go on Atheist Experience, if you want to get dunked on, but if you don't know why God created people with needing oxygen, then you could be like, I'll tell you what, I'll call you back. Go talk to your
Katie, I enjoy talking to you, and I enjoy talking to I forget your name now, but because I'm not watching it.
Thank you. I got one too. It's Johnny P. Angel.
And you're a Heathen, right? You're a Heathen. Is that your pronouns?
I am.
Yes, it is. Are we gonna get a little
good
all day? Joe, you go your merry way, Joe. Thank you so much for calling.
Joe.
Call back with some
abortion
different,
saves lives.
Yeah. Did he say that at the very end?
He got a sneaky abortion comment in near the end, not right at the end.
Didn't want to troll us, but then throws out his
just gonna make a point about not to call you out, Johnny, but I'm not convinced that banning abortion reduces the number of abortions. I think it just increases the number of deaths from abortions. I don't know if there's necessarily going to be an increase in the number of babies being born. Maybe, but I don't actually think I've seen evidence for that. So I think it's an important part of anti-abortion propaganda to say that they're saving babies' lives, but there won't be any difference.